Chapter 9, Lesson 4 on negative exponents. Alright, so negative exponents. The problem is with negative exponents that we can't really evaluate anything until we turn them into positive. So here's just a little example of why these negative exponents are going to give us this fraction, why they give us the answer. We've talked about this a little bit. So 3 to the third power is 27. 3 to the second power is 9. 3 to the first power is 3. We know those. All right, 3 to the 0 power is 1. We also know that. Now, if we look at the pattern, we can see, well, we're dividing by 3. We're dividing by 3. We always just divide by the base to get the next power less. So if I take 1 and divide it by 3, it's 1/3. If I take that and divide it by 3, it's 1/9. And if I notice 1/9 is the same thing like as writing 1 over 3 squared. So that tells me that my rule is if I take any number to a negative exponent, the evaluation of it is going to be the reciprocal of a to the fifth, and then change it from -5 to +5. All right, let's look at some examples. So if I have 5 to the -3rd, and I just want to write it with a positive exponent, I'm going to say, okay, so the reciprocal is 1 over 5, and change it to a positive power. The reciprocal of 4 is 1 over 4 to the second power. The reciprocal of a is 1 over a to the 7th power. Now let's look at what happens though if I want to write something with a positive exponent, change it to a negative exponent. We're going to do the same sort of thing. So the reciprocal of 1/5 is 5 to the -3rd power. The reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 to the -6th power. Now these next ones I want to try to write without an exponent of 1. So instead of writing 36 to the -1st power, I want to write it without using a -1 exponent, but a negative exponent. So I'm going to say, okay, well 36, I could write that with an exponent. I could write it as 6 squared. So then if I wanted to change it to the reciprocal, 6 to the -2nd power. So if I wanted to change 1/9, I say, well, I could change the 9 and write it as 3 squared. So I could write it as 3 to the -2nd power. Now, when we talk about evaluating, we've talked a lot about this, that it means do all the math that you can. Don't leave exponents, especially no negative exponents. All right? So if I'm going to evaluate the following, m to the -2nd, I'm going to say, okay, that's 4 to the -2nd, which I know means 1 over 4 squared. But again, I'm evaluating, so I want to change that and make it 1 over 16 would be my final answer. And then the last one, 6m n to the -4th. So let's just substitute it in 6 times, and m is 4, and n is 3, and then the 3 is to the -4th power. So that means I'm going to do 6 times 4 times 1 over 3 to the 4th power. So I'm going to do 6, I'm going to move up here a little bit just so I have room. 6 times 4 times 1 over 81, because 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27, 27 times 3 is 81, and then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to multiply 24 times 1 over 81, so I have 24 over 1, so 24 over 81, I can divide them both by 3, and I get 8 over 27.